Part 32. Desire to protect him, and pull him under my wings, covering and blocking him. Xuan Huaifeng was driven mad by the man who was pressing him on top of him. And he kept sobbing with pain and happiness, and there was an occasional return of consciousness that made him realize that he was actively holding Bai Xuelan's shoulder, as if he was clinging to a big tree. There was a wisteria plant on top of it, which slapped Bai Xuelan with two fists in anger, and slapped Bai Xuelan's thick back shoulder a few times with his fingernails. However, Bai Xuelan laughed even more happily. Kiss. You are so energetic tonight. He added more energy and worked vigorously for most of the night. Xuan Huaifeng slept soundlessly for a while, then woke up suddenly in the early morning. He was extremely tired. He seemed to have forgotten the existence of his limbs and waist when he woke up last night. He only knew that every hair was soaked with helpless soreness. But his spirit was unexpectedly excited. When he opened his eyes, he realized where the strange feeling that made him unable to sleep soundly came from. Bai Xuelan's face was so close. With a warm breath, he snorted slowly and long, all of them sprayed onto his neck, itching of. This man worked hard all night and turned others upside down. So he was also exhausted and was sleeping soundly. As soon as he woke up, he saw that Bai Xuelan always had an arrogant and handsome face even in his dreams. Xuan Huaifeng wanted to wake him up with a palm, and pat him far away, so that he would not be too proud. But in a blink of an eye, he saw a few bright red scratches on the man's naked shoulders, from whose handwriting, there is no need to ask more. Even if there was no one else nearby except Bai Xuelan, who was immersed in sleep. Xuan Huaifeng couldn't help blushing and feeling a little guilty, full of embarrassment. He was a little afraid that Bai Xuelan would tease him when he woke up. Carefully shrinking from the bed, he moved Bai Xuelan's hands onto the sheets, and tiptoed out of bed. This unusual movement made him frown constantly, as if his lower back had been broken and reconnected, slightly. The soreness quickly dissipated. There seemed to be a huge wedge stuck deep down there. It would be delusional to ignore this intense discomfort. Xuan Huaifeng frowned, endured the humiliating pain, took a set of clean clothes, and changed them behind the screen before coming out. There was a mess on the ground, all the fabric that Bai Xuelan shredded last night. This man was right at all. He was fierce, like a beast. Xuan Huaifeng absolutely didn't want the servants to clean up all the evidence of this crime. So, he bent down and silently rolled the scraps of fabric, stretched the thread, and rolled the buttons around, and Bai Xuelan himself unfastened the belt that was thrown on the ground. Put what can be used on the bedside, and throw everything that can't be used in the waste bin. Then he gently opened the door, stepped out, turned around and closed the door carefully, so that Bai Xuelan, who had been tired all night, could sleep soundly. The morning wind is good. Xuan Huaifeng breathed 2 breaths of fresh air with a moist floral fragrance in the small courtyard, and the soreness on his body seemed to be reduced by 2 points. The mood is also very cheerful. This is probably the reason for the string of locust blossoms on the big tree outside the courtyard gate. Dreaming back to the past, Bai Xuelan took the key exchanged by Xian Dayang from the concierge, and walked slowly in the hotel corridor lit by the dim yellow light. He knew who lived in the room on the 3rd floor. Knowing this word is actually very pale. In fact, he should say that he is very familiar, very clear, as if it was something that had been in his palm for a long time. And it was so hot that he rubbed it, and he remembered every streak. Unfortunately, every time he got serious and raised his palm to face the sun, the palm was empty again. Nothing. Now, there was finally something in his palm. That's a key. A beautiful little steel ring was attached to it, and there was a sign on the steel ring with the room number written on it. The person who had scratched his heart since he transferred to Guangdong on the first day, is lying in this room at the moment, probably already fast asleep. Xuan Huaifeng. It's such a good name. Gold wrapped in jade, unbreakable. Bai Xuelan guessed that this name must have been given to him by his mother. I heard that the lady is beautiful, dignified, literate, and is a coveted flower before leaving the cabinet. It is a pity that this is the age of flowers and cow dung, and there are not many heroes, but warlords everywhere. It's too beautiful and too good. And it will naturally fall into the hands of a big old man who leads troops to power. No matter how much Commander Xuan loved the lady, what was robbed was what was robbed. After all, the beauty died early. Flowers, how can they be folded? These were all inquired by Bai Xuelan. He was very interested in inquiring about this Xuan Huaifeng in his class. Guangdong is very big. Everyone says that it is prosperous and there are many new things. However, the decoration is too delicate, and it seems that it will be broken when you touch it. The domineering arrogance that is not afraid of the earth, and the earth cannot be compared. And Bai Xuelan is used to the vast and magnificent world. Here, there is only one thing that can arouse Bai Xuelan's interest: Xuan Huaifeng. Xuan Huaifeng is a very interesting person. If Bai Xuelan was asked to find an appropriate word to describe, Xuan Huaifeng would be very natural. Sit naturally, stand naturally, speak naturally, smile naturally. Unlike the kind of bastard who wants to show off everywhere and suppress everyone's head everywhere, this person, even if he is proud, is naturally arrogant, as if he was born like this. So occasionally he smiled at someone, and the sky was particularly sunny. Such rosy lips and white teeth, no flaws can be found. His eyes are very clear, his voice is neither high nor low. And he looks engrossed when he looks down at the book, which is really heartwarming. It's a pity for such a person to be the commander-in-chief's son. He shouldn't have been born in such a bad world, where there is chaos everywhere. Guns, cannons, robbers, and refugees occupy the field of vision. Before Bai Xuelan came to Guangdong, he was forced to read half of Dream of Red Mansions by the concierge sister. Eat enough to hold on. Seeing Xuan Huaifeng, Bai Xuelan suddenly realized, there is such a kind of person who should be placed in the Grand View Garden. He should be noble by nature and be served carefully. When he is full, he will read books, recite poetry, or take a small nap. Of course, women are exempt, too verbose. Besides, female sex hurts. One is enough, let alone a group of people in the Grand View Garden. If Xuan Huaifeng was locked in the Grand View Garden with him, Bai Xuelan felt that he would be willing. Of course, this is just fantasy. And Xuan Huaifeng is definitely not Jia Baoyu, even if he looks like the description in the book. He is a noble and beautiful young man who is full of grief and sorrow all day long. The text has warm blood. He is very angry for the country. Otherwise, every time he mentioned saving the country and the people, and the future of China, why would he always raise his hand and stand up to speak? He told his husband that to save the country, we must first strengthen ourselves. To strengthen ourselves, we must first read and understand science. If China can open a large number of schools, Chinese children will not need to spend money to go to school, then China will be saved. Hot-blooded and childish, like a beautiful canary with innocent eyes. When Bai Xuelan laughed secretly, he found that the gentleman on the podium also had a helpless smile in his eyes. It's no wonder that Xuan Huaifeng is a person who doesn't understand reality, and Bai Xuelan also likes him. It's really clean. From outside to inside, crystal clear. That kind of preciousness that breaks at the touch of a touch makes people pounding. He was so ignorant of world affairs that Bai Xuelan had the desire to protect him, and pull him under my wings, covering and blocking him. occasionally tired, move his wings a little bit, and see the quiet and dignified appearance of him lying under his wings, so he is not tired anymore. But this is just fantasy. Xuan Huaifeng didn't need his protection. On this site in Guangdong, the most vicious person was his father, Commander Xuan. Who dares to touch Commander Xuan's precious son? Xuan Huaifeng didn't even want to be friends with Bai Xuelan, although he was a classmate. Xuan Huaifeng always kept him at a distance. Bai Xuelan was both funny and angry. This Xuan Huaifeng said he was smart, but he was actually a little idiot. Isn't it? It is clear that they like Lin Qijun, but the two of them have been playing as children. Xuan Huaifeng didn't know how to push the boat along the way. And he didn't know how to refuse and welcome him. He was clumsy, like a dumb mouse who didn't know how to deal with a turtle. Just being shy would use up most of his brains. Of course. This made Bai Xuelan like him even more. It is better to be clumsy. Thank goodness. However, if Xuan Huaifeng was said to be clumsy, he was very alert to Bai Xuelan. Bai Xuelan asked himself that he had not done anything out of the ordinary. I just looked at him a few times, deeply. But I took the opportunity to come over and chat and laugh a few words. Bai Xuelan really doesn't understand. Is it because he was careless and said something that made Xuan Huaifeng wary, or because he didn't keep him hunting eyes well? In short, Xuan Huaifeng is normal to other students, but only has the most special attitude towards two people. One is Lin Qijun. Xuan Huaifeng is very kind and gentle to him. One is Bai Xuelan. Xuan Huaifeng is very alert to him. Just like a rabbit in the undulating grass suddenly smells the smell of a wolf. Bai Xuelan pretended to be innocent on the surface, but he knew in his heart that Xuan Huaifeng's vigilance was right. He really wanted to eat this little white rabbit. I really want to. Crazy thinking. Such a rare treasure, why give it to Lin Qijun? Such a white hand, why can only hold it with Lin Qijun? Such an orchid-like breath, why only Lin Qijun can smell it? Bai Xuelan was extremely unconvinced. I asked myself that I was much better than that soft-bodied guy Lin Qijun. This young Master Pai was famous in Shandong and was a heartthrob. I was handsome, had broad shoulders, remembered reading books, could ride horses, and could shoot double guns. I was only 15 years old. When the time came, I don't know how many people crowded their heads and wanted to send their daughter over and get married early. As a result, when Xuan Huaifeng was in front of him, he was not as good as Lin Qijun, a family who sold foreign goods. No matter how hard Bai Xuelan tries to reverse the disadvantage, Xuan Huaifeng is not fooled. He is regarded as a wolf who needs to be guarded against, and Lin Qijun is regarded as a living baby. Hold your breath. Unfortunately, this is not Shandong. If he was in Shandong, Bai Xuelan really wanted to grab people. He has never done anything like robbing people, but he has seen it. Fifth uncle robbed people. The process is simple. Fifth uncle went out for a walk and saw a beautiful female student. The fifth uncle followed the family to the school, figured out their name and address, and what the family did. When he came back, he brought a member of the elite platoon with him. Bai Xuelan was young at the time and wanted to watch the fun, so he followed. When I got to someone's house, the whole line of soldiers and horses lined up. In front of the parents of the female student, Uncle Fifth didn't talk nonsense. He put a check on the table and put a pistol on it and said, "Hired." In this way, he snatched a beautiful female student home and became the third concubine. Bai Xuelan didn't feel anything at the time, but he has grown up a bit in recent years. And now he can't help muttering when he sees the third concubine, who is well dressed, used to spending money with her hands and feet, and is also good at playing sparrow cards. The fifth uncle sometimes does things really badly. Yes, the next three indiscriminate. Unruly bandit. But sometimes, Bai Xuelan has some unspeakable envy. If it is in Shandong, how good it is. Being anxious, he can also come and do this. He brought his party to Xuan's house, slammed the check and pistol on the table, and only said, "You're hired." He carried Xuan Huaifeng into the car, drove the car all the way home, and then helped Xuan Huaifeng changed into a new set of clothes that he personally picked. From now on, he would kiss him if he wanted to, hug him if he wanted to. And Xuan Huaifeng could only smile at him and talk to him. Lin Qijun? Fuck off. What a bastard, these are just fantasies. This is not Shandong, it is Guangdong, Xuan Huaifeng's father's territory. Here Bai Xuelan can't rob people, can't tell Lin Qijun to get out, can't occupy Xuan Huaifeng alone. On the contrary, he has to try to be good friends with Xuan Huaifeng. And he has to endure Xuan Huaifeng's vigilance and indifference towards him politely. However, Xuan Huaifeng is not fooled. A stinging pain came, and Bai Xuelan looked down at his palm. He was so absorbed in his thoughts that his fingers were so tightly clenched that the jagged steel teeth of the key were almost pierced into the flesh without knowing it. Either way, if you can't steal it outright, then steal it in the dark. Although a bit sloppy, he wouldn't just sit and watch Lin Qijun's soft bastard eat his Xuan Huaifeng for a little moral guilt. Lin Qijun is really a soft egg, he didn't dare to attack. If he was replaced by Lin Qijun, he would have eaten Xuan Huaifeng many times. Fortunately, he is a soft egg. Otherwise Bai Xuelan would be even more mad. However, he was not sure when Lin Qijun would be enlightened. They were so close, and they came to climb the mountain together and lived in the same hotel. How dangerous. In case Lin Qijun suddenly becomes thirsty and eats Xuan Huaifeng with one mouthful. Thinking of this, Bai Xuelan becomes restless. It was as if a cat's claws were scratching desperately in his heart, as if the flesh in his mouth was suddenly snatched away with blood by a thief. Silent night. There was no one in the hallway. Bai Xuelan stood in front of the door, inserted the key into the keyhole, and slowly twisted it. Without a sound, the door opened. Although it was the first time, he did it very calmly and skillfully, as if he had been a thief thousands of times. Bai Xuelan himself smiled bitterly. Could it be that he was born to be a thief? In Shandong, what is the use of stealing incense and jade by yourself? It's just that when he encounters Xuan Huaifeng, he falls to this point. He pushed the door open to a gap, dodged in, and quickly closed the door. After a while, he got used to the dark light in the room, and slowly saw the bulging outline of the bed. I'm not too worried that Xuan Huaifeng will wake up. The concierge charged him a large sum of money, and not only provided the key to open the door, but also put sleeping medicine in the tea given to Xuan Huaifeng. The concierge even poured a cup diligently and watched Xuan Huaifeng with his own eyes to drink before bed. It can be seen that money can make ghosts run the mill. What about the commander's son? There are many villains who are lucky in this world. As long as they are willing to spend a lot of money, there are still people who dare to reach out. For this reason, Bai Xuelan is worried about Xuan Huaifeng again. Although his father is powerful, he is not careful enough. First, he can't guard against Lin Qijun's fake friend who looks like a gentleman and has hidden lust, and second, he can't guard against a daring, all-or-nothing pervert. No. You must be more careful in the future. Hide Xuan Huaifeng under his wings, not even a single crack. While thinking about the future, Bai Xuelan gently walked to the bed. The moon's light through the window was limited, but he could still see Xuan Huaifeng's face clearly, and fell asleep quietly, obedient and cute. He couldn't help but leaned his head down to sniff. Gently rubbing his nose on Xuan Huaifeng's graceful neck, He wanted to do this for a long time, but unfortunately, he never got the chance. How could the usual Xuan Huaifeng let him put his nose on his neck? This is a gift that Lin Qijun occasionally can get. But now, Bai Xuelan has stolen it. He sniffed hard, and the tip of his nose slid across the white and warm skin on his neck, as if slipping through brocade, soft and moving. For a long time, he had imagined that he would smell the orchid-like fragrance from Xuan Huaifeng, but now he realizes that it is really an imaginary thing. There is an orchid fragrance on a man, so what is it? It should be like this at this moment, faint, if there is nothing, just the clean smell of Xuan Huaifeng. Bai Xuelan sniffed greedily. It smells so good. The night was silent, as if dormant in his arrogant crimes. He became more courageous, took off his shoes, lifted a corner of the quilt, and got into the bed to sleep with Xuan Huaifeng. He had already thought of a plan. He brought a small bottle of wine. Wait a minute, he drank the wine, pretended to be drunk, went to the wrong room, and slept in the same bed with Xuan Huaifeng. Why is the door open? Who knows? He was drunk, thinking it was his room, and turned the doorknob to open it. Maybe Xuan Huaifeng forgot to lock the door. The point is, he will spend the night with Xuan Huaifeng. When he wakes up the next day, Xuan Huaifeng will definitely be startled. That's not a problem. It was Lin Qijun who Bai Xuelan wanted to fix. Lin Qijun had no courage. If he knew about this, he would definitely feel bad about it, and maybe he would break up with Xuan Huaifeng. If it's not safe, it's fine. Bai Xuelan still has a second hand. He has secretly spread the news. And Commander Xuan will soon receive rumors. It is estimated that with Commander Xuan's character, he will personally bring his guards to the hotel tomorrow morning. If he sees this scene, he will definitely jump with anger. In this way, it will be difficult for Lin Qijun to be intimate with Xuan Huaifeng in the future. With this lesson, Commander Xuan will definitely be on guard against all the men around Xuan Huaifeng. The only problem is, I don't know how Commander Xuan will deal with Bai Xuelan lying on his son's bed. Bai Xuelan thought, if it were an ordinary person, maybe Commander Xuan would be killed with a single hand, but Commander Xuan was not a fool. He knew that he belongs to Commander Bai's family in Shandong. If he kills himself, there is really a good battle to be fought. What's more, they haven't really moved Xuan Huaifeng. This is just a suspicion. He just stumbled into the room drunk. Of course, even if he is not shot, it is estimated that a violent beating is inevitable. Just beat it. Bai Xuelan snorted coldly in the bottom of his heart. As long as you can keep Lin Qijun and Xuan Huaifeng far away, the beatings are worth it. At least before you have the right to control the overall situation, the two must be well separated, so as not to make a single mistake turn into eternal hatred. Bai Xuelan thought about his own plan and felt that it was not a very good plan, but it was okay, at least the process made him very happy. Grandpa said that he was eccentric and stubborn, and that the smart one was often confused for a while, and he was probably right. They were very close, and Xuan Huaifeng's warm breath sprayed on his face, preventing him from concentrating on other things. Under the moonlight, Xuan Huaifeng's silhouette is very beautiful, and his facial features are extremely delicate. Bai Xuelan can't help but want to touch it, but he has to worry, what if he wakes up? If Xuan Huaifeng woke up, he would be so angry that he would run away immediately. Then Commander Xuan would not be able to see such a wonderful scene, and Lin Qijun might not know about it if things didn't start. He couldn't tell Xuan Huaifeng if he didn't know suspicion. I just want to touch him. Bai Xuelan thought about it, thinking about rationality, plans, and goals on the one hand, and soft, fragrant, and itchy impulses on the other. He endured it, put his head close, and carefully blew a sigh of relief on Xuan Huaifeng's face. Sure enough, he drank the medicine, but he didn't notice it at all, and he still fell asleep. Very nice and quiet. Suddenly, Bai Xuelan's heart was beating wildly for some reason, faster than when the door was opened just now. He stared at Xuan Huaifeng and pursed his lips, a hint of madness in his eyes. Want to kiss him? Steal a kiss on his mouth? This thought flashed through his mind, and Bai Xuelan thought of 3 words, Sha San Ran. Yes, this is also a rude method. He originally planned to announce a suspicious situation first, so that Lin Qijun would not take advantage of Xuan Huaifeng, and when he returned in the future, he would use his means openly and take Xuan Huaifeng to his arms. It's no longer good to prescribe medicine, it's no longer good to sneak into the room. It's already very blasphemous to sniff his neck, and now you want to secretly kiss him on the mouth? Alas, rogue means. Bai Xuelan muttered in his heart and scolded his methods for not being splendid. And put his mouth close. Not wanting to steal kisses, just rubbing lips against lips. But why are his lips so fragrant? It seems to be soaked in honey, and it can't be moved once it is touched. Bai Xuelan has never tasted such a soft taste in his life, nothing compares to it. He wanted to kiss a little deeper, but he didn't dare to pry Xuan Huaifeng's teeth. After all, Xuan Huaifeng was only sound asleep, not fainting, so of course he would wake up. But he was really itching. Bai Xuelan stuck out his tongue and searched carefully in the gap between his lips. After all, he couldn't find a way to enter, so he had to lick his cute lips with the tip of his tongue instead. The pink lips are soft and charming when licked, as if there is a touch of honey on it. Bai Xuelan tasted it. So sweet. Always, never enough. His tongue is a little key, trying to open the door to this treasure. We can't use brute force. We can only persevere and hope that sincerity will be the best way to achieve success. He wants to open the door. Taste again and again, the tip of the tongue slides over the soft lips. And then slides. Huaifeng, open the door. Give me a try. Once again. He tried this again and again, ignoring the moon outside the window, spying on and retreating silently. Rushing on the road every second regardless of the time, and the sky was about to show white. Even in the dream, Xuan Huaifeng pursed his lips stubbornly, as if he knew what Bai Xuelan was doing. But it doesn't matter. This attempt originally made Bai Xuelan very happy. So sweet. Bai Xuelan knows, don't talk about one night. Even if he was asked to taste like this for 3 lifetimes. He would still be willing. Very willing too. After a lot of things, Bai Xuelan, the chief of customs, was finally satisfied and returned with his beauty. Although Xuan Huaifeng didn't say anything. He would be jealous because of Bai Yunfei's affairs, and would soften his heart because of his injury. In this world, is there anything that makes the chief more elated than this? But in the chaotic world, although there is mutual exchange of minds, troubles come one after another.